Hello, this is the infamous Iffy, and continuing on with Final Fantasy XVI. I think this is going to be I'm not sure, but I think this is going to be the last part. Sorry, the last video for this game. So, yeah, because after I've finished off the last of those side quests, I think it's just straight to the final boss then. Depending on how much is left, I don't really know. There could be still another, like, a lot more left to the game.
What is it, Clive?
Oh,
I think I'm always with you, Clive.
Oh, a few side quests here.
What is it this time, Torgal?
First the skies, then the crystal. What next?
Say what you will, Lady Karen is serious.
Pining for something, boy. What is it? What do you see out there? I never did ask where you got that anklet of yours.
From Sid, that's why. On the day he brought him home.
That long ago?
And you're only thinking to ask this now? Sid saw that the pup had a habit of gnawing on his leg, since you ask. Clap that there iron on him to keep him from doing it.
What was wrong, boy?
I'll take like as not. Must have been hard on the poor whelp losing his loving masters at such a young age. Doubly hard in being a frost wolf, torn away from his icons and all. Sid would always tell him, you want that iron gone, you find what it is you're looking for. I reckon what he were looking for was you.
I'm sorry, Torgal. Sorry for making you wait so long. Let's get that thing off you.
Doesn't sound like he wants it off.
Yeah, he actually sounds angry there. As Clive went to take the iron off there, he was like growling.
Indeed. You miss Sid as much as the rest of us, don't you? You want me to go with you somewhere?
Quick, aren't you? Glad you've been paying attention.
Not nearly as much as you have, Lady Karen.
Aye, good thing and all. It's not like Gav would have kept him in nuts and rubbed his belly these past 10 summers.
Your kindness is appreciated. You've been a good friend to...
Only because he doesn't talk back like the rest of you. Go on now.
Where to then, Torgal?
Okay, follow Torgal.
All right, Torgal. Where are you taking me? I'm going to need a little bit more than that, boy. Do you have a better hint for me? Unless... you've already given me one. Back on the rear deck, you were looking west. Toward Rosaria. Why don't we try the rockery? haven't been to the island in almost 20 years. To Port Isolde then. Fingers crossed the old mooring is still there.
Okay then, so... Oh, right there.
It's still here. After all these years. Lot smaller than I remember. You're a lot bigger. You might have to swim, boy. I wasn't being serious.
Yeah, Torkel was very angry about that.
This place hasn't changed.
Oh, no island.
Is it all? The rookery's right through those trees. Come on. Race you there? I bet I could still beat you.
Is it like an old location where Clive, Jill and Joshua used to hang out, or...?
Here we are. This was our hideaway,
Oh yeah.
wasn't it, Torgal? Coming here helped me to forget who I was. Or wasn't. Prince, shield. Son his mother could love. Had I been any one of those things? Perhaps. What is it, boy? This is all from the castle. And Phoenix Gate. Did you bring these here? My sparring sword. Well. You never stopped looking for me, did you, boy? Thank you, Torgal. For never giving up. For never forgetting. Let's take this with us, shall we? So I don't forget either. That's not the way back to the boat, Torgal.
Does he want Clive to see something else as well?
All right. I'm coming. I think I know where we're going.
I'll say this is a nice side quest, like seeing more into the flashbacks of Clive's past and Torgal's.
People always talk about the importance of putting the past behind you. But without it, we wouldn't be who we are today. And we certainly couldn't steer our way to a better tomorrow. Come on, Torgal. Let's go home.
Quest complete. Yeah, that was a nice side quest. More than words. Okay, trial and error. I still haven't done that one, so where is that exactly? Oh, there. Yeah, it's nice that some of the side quests, like that one was like taking a break from the action.
So I might at least have mentioned.
Like taking a break from the combat just to like focus on the past a bit more.
And where in Northreach he'd be testing this recruit.
It's threatening to pull their sentries from the mark.
Well met, Sid. This is the initiate. Ember, present yourself.
At your service, Master.
Please, just Sid. There are no masters here. Your life is your own.
Oh, of course. Thank you, Sid. The sergeant says you'll be evaluating me at my trial.
To become a scout, yes. You are aware of the dangers inherent in that role.
I am. But I swore I'd face them. Just like the man who saved my life.
Who would that be?
Gav. It was him who found me and freed me. No magic, no support, just one man and his nose. Came and sniffed me out. It taught me what one man can do if he puts his mind to it. And I've been training ever since, so that one day I can be someone's saviour, just like Gav was mine.
I'm sure he'd be flattered. You clearly have good intentions, Ember. And it sounds like you're under no illusions. Stick to this path and you'll make a fine curse breaker.
So, what? Have I passed?
You haven't even started yet. Now listen. Not far from here is an Imperial lookout, Eastwatch. The guards there record all their sightings in a logbook. You are to find it and bring it here.
And bring it here, right. Anything else?
No. Sneaking into a heavily guarded Imperial outpost and stealing the logbook would be quite sufficient. You'll need to assess the situation, determine a point of entry, create a distraction and effect an escape, all without being discovered and thrown into an Imperial oubliette.
Ember, Gav isn't our best scout because he can do everything. It's essential that you know your limits.
Know my limits, right. I won't let you down.
It shouldn't be as dangerous as I made out. But keep a weather eye on him all the same, would you?
On my way. All right, Ember. Impress me.
Okay.
run like the wind. These are clean kills. Perhaps young Ember really is ready.
Or not.
Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Damn it. Ember, draw your sword!
I can't!
Then run! If you want him, you'll have to...
Okay, that was easy.
Ember, are you... gone? Of course. Back to Northreach it is then.
First, I just want to grab that chest. Oh, what's that? Not bad, but Gen G gloves are better. Yeah, it's probably quicker just to fast travel back.
A fortress? You'll pay for that.
The garrison is threatening to pull their sentries from the markets. What does the day?
I'm just going to restock on the items because I didn't mean to use one of the stone skin things during that fight.
We'd have our coin. Our stock enough.
Do you see anything you like? An excellent choice. I do like a customer who knows what he wants.
I didn't expect you back so soon. Where is Ember? How did he fare?
Yeah, about that.
Thought I'd find him with you. He must have fled. I followed him to Eastwatch, where I found him being set upon by a wild Avis. He was just standing there. Didn't even draw his sword. I had to step in and take care of things. But by the time I had, he was nowhere to be seen. I assumed he'd set off in your direction, but apparently not.
I'm sorry, Sid. I knew the boy had a nervous streak, but he seemed like...
The right man for the job? I believe this is the logbook you tasked me with retrieving.
Eh? How did you... Don't you tell me you breached the tower while Sid was busy saving your skin.
What? Wasn't that what you asked me to do? To bring the thing back without getting caught?
He has you there in his heir. And he did it all on his own.
But Sid, He...
He did what he thought was best. And now I have to decide whether I agree.
Of course. We'll await your evaluation back at the hideaway. Don't you leave my sight.
Yes, Sergeant.
This won't be an easy decision.
Okay, may as well start this side quest since I'm already here.
This is my father's stall.
I would speak with this Duke.
Saw the captain just now. Your town needs you.
Do you have a moment, Clive?
What is it?
It's the Duke, unsurprisingly. His Eminence has assumed full control of the garrison and put every able-bodied man to work on the fortifications. The town was left all but unguarded, so Philippe was compelled to form a citizen's watch to fill the void. And though my dear boys have been characteristically willing to assist him in this, they want for bodies. So I was wondering if you would lend them your strength, that the people of Northreach might sleep easier, if only for a few nights.
Yeah, okay.
Of course.
Thank you, Clive. What would I do without you? Philippe told me he had men stationed at...
Where can I find the mistress of this establishment?
Here, my lady. To whom do I have the pleasure of speaking?
My name is Sabine, and it is my displeasure to be the daughter of the Duke of Oriflamme, who I understand is causing you and your town no small amount of trouble. I wish to speak to you about what might be done.
Very well. Let us speak. I trust you'll forgive me, Clive.
Absolutely. Our conversation can wait.
Please, proceed.
As you know, my father is a most overbearing and supercilious man, and I join you in objecting to his every action. Indeed, I owe you my thanks for continuing to argue against his reckless plans. Yet I fear he is not one to be swayed by reason. No, he must be made to face the consequences of his actions.
And who would make him do this?
I would. Myself and several other like-minded individuals. Were you to join us, we would surely have the strength to drive him from Northreach for good.
Does that not seem a trifle... drastic?
Drastic action is precisely what is called for. Unless you are content to see your people downtrodden and dispossessed. My father would have it that citizens exist only to serve the Empire. That they should be forced to make every sacrifice to ensure her revival. But he is wrong. It is not the people who must serve the Empire, but the Empire who must serve her people. He's always been like this, scornful of the opinions of anyone he judged beneath him. But he cannot be allowed to ride roughshod over the common folk any longer. We must fight him by all possible means.
Fight him? No. My purpose is to quell the tension in Northreach, not to stoke it. Respectfully, my lady. Our only chance of saving this town depends upon every one of us uniting against our common enemy. Your father and his followers included. While I understand your frustrations, I cling to the hope that he may yet be won round.
False hope, I assure you. But I see that your mind is made up. I shall bother you no longer. If you will extend me the same courtesy, I bid you good day.
She certainly has spirit.
Indeed. But unfortunately for us, that spirit is only likely to harden the Duke's resolve, which may be enough to seal the fate of this town. Not that she cares. This is all about her and her father.
Families.
I'm sorry, where were we? Ah, yes. I was about to tell you of Philippe's plans for the town ward, but perhaps it's better that you heard them from him. I believe he's in the market if you...
Right away.
It's just a pity I cannot join you. I'd like to see the two of you in action together. The task of organizing the town watch has been taking up a great deal of Philippe's time.
Your town needs you. This is my father's store.
So you are content to abandon the... Please! If you are a true son of Northreach, you must fight to defend your home!
That's exactly what I am doing, milady. Or trying to, at least. The land is crawling with fiends, and someone has to keep watch.
Even when our true enemy is hiding in the garrison? Fine. You're not the only able-bodied man in Northreach. Thank you so much for your help.
She cornered you too, then?
Could hardly get a word in edgeways. Like father, like daughter, eh?
She made an uninvited appearance at the Vale earlier, hoping to convince the Dame to join her in fomenting rebellion.
I bet that went well. Her ladyship seems to have a way with people. Anyway, what brings you here?
Our mutual friend thought you might welcome some help.
Oh, she did. Right as always. In fact, you're just the man. We've had some reports, you see. Sightings of, you know what.
They're back.
Seems that way. Although we haven't been able to confirm anything yet, but if you're willing, you could go and see what's what.
Is that the Akashic enemies, or...?
You know Grieger's Weep? One of the sightings places them some...
I'm on my way.
Thank you, Clive. I'll look into one of the other sightings.
Oh, right there.
Damn it. The reports were true. I need to stop them before they get to the town.
Well, that should be easy. Well, that's the end of that. Oh, do I get a level up? Well, very close anyway.
Call that a test, Ultima?
Clive! It's me! You alright?
I am. But it seems the reports were true. The thralls have returned. I dispatched the few that I found, though.
Well, there's something, I suppose. But what were they doing south of town? They all came from the north last time. We might be able to fend off an attack from one side or the other. But from both?
Do you have eyes in the north?
Some. I should probably go and have a look, though, just to be sure. You head back to Northreach. I want you there just in case war breaks out while
What do you mean?
Her ladyship's been busy working her magic on the town, stirring up ill feeling towards her father. But she'll have her marching on the barracks if we're not careful.
What? This is exactly what the Dame was afraid of. I'll do what I can to calm things. Be careful out there, all right?
Don't worry, I'm not like you. One sniff of those things and I'm running back to town screaming blue murder.
Do you not see, Father? The people of Northreach have given enough, and only a fool would ask for more.
Listen to me, Sabine. Where would our people be without their country, hmm? The Empire is their sword and their shield. It is she that ensures they can live without fear. And now she teeters on the brink. Without their sword, how will the people fight? Without their shield, how will they protect their kin? Can the unarmed stand against the advancing hordes? No. But there is yet hope. A new shield, a new sword. A new empire. We can rebuild Sandbreck, just as Great Grieger wills it.
Perhaps we could, Father. But we don't want to. Not if it is built on the broken backs of the people.
Please, let us not quarrel in the street. You must see that no good will come of this. Our fight is not with each other, but with the threat that draws ever closer to our gates. A threat that your sword has yet to rid us of, Your Eminence.
You will hold your tongue, whore! You may have filled my daughter's head with your heresy, but I will not be corrupted.
Corrupted? Your daughter's opinions are her own, as you would know if you had ever deigned to listen to her. At least I hope they are your opinions, and not posturing born of a family feud. Northreach deserves better than that.
Northreach deserves better than you, Carla. Yes, I know who you are. The slut of Twinside who bedded a branded.
Jealous, are you? That a woman might choose a bearer over a pious man of Grieger.
Clive! I met a swarm of thralls coming south from Oriflamme. Hundreds of them. Too many to count.
Oh, fuck. No. Work on the fortifications has scarcely begun. We will retreat to Caernarvon and there make our stand. Did you hear me? That was an order!
While this is but a heartfelt plea, let us make our stand here and protect our homes. Protect those that we love. Together, for Northreach!
You heard the dame. What are we waiting for? Pikemen to the gates. Archers to the roofs. Quickly, come on!
But she is but a common...
whore, yes. And we'd follow her to the gates of hell.
It's kind of funny that both sides left both the father and the daughter. Like they just like both left and like, we're gonna do our own thing instead.
The men have their orders, and they look like following them. I got them spaced out at regular intervals. Whichever direction the thralls strike from, there'll be someone there to...
Thank you, Philippe. Rest assured the people will play their part. The herbalist has donated her stock of medicines, should any of your men be injured.
Thank you, milady.
I'll play my part. You still want for numbers. Unlike the enemy, I only hope I can go some way to evening the odds. Philippe, can I leave the south in your hands? I doubt the thralls by the lake were the last of their number.
Of course. I'll lead a party down that way so we don't get taken by surprise. What about you?
I'll make my way up the road to Oriflamme. I fought a few of these things. While I can't promise to hold them all back, I should be able to thin the herd.
All right.
Thank you.
You can thank us when it's over.
Till then, madame.
Okay, off to Oriflamme then.
I have served the Duke for many years.
Oh, I just want to see what they say.
Merciful Creek, wherefore would you forsake me?
Father.
I want steel in the hands of every man.
It's kind of funny though that they were both like left on their own there. Everyone just like left them to be completely alone. Anyway.
Good girl.
Oh, that was quick.
This is more like it. Come on then. Test me. Farewell. Stay down. All yours, Torgal. I'm hurt, Torgal. Is it over? No. It's only just begun.
Okay, got very lucky there. Oh, level up. Level 48.
That looks to be the last of them. I wonder how the others fared. Better hurry back to town. Come on, Torgal.
Clive, it's good to see you.
And you. The road to Oriflamme is clear. How did you and your men fare?
Well, we ended up fighting for our lives down by the lake. Took a few nicks, but nothing the girls of the Vale can't put right.
Glad to hear it.
Well, it seems we've survived. For the time being, at least. I thank you both for answering the call.
You were right, and I was wrong. About everything. I had thought that the only way to unite the people was under the banner of Empire. That without a strong hand to guide them, they would drift apart. To be borne hither and yon by the eddying currents of fate. But you brought them together. Not by force, nor by the exercise of goddess-given authority, but by simply being one of them. By knowing what they feel, because you feel it yourself.
Our purpose was ever the same, Your Eminence. You were merely distracted by a loftier vision of empire and glory, while our eyes beheld matters closer to home.
You have the right of it again, as did you, Sabine. His Radiance said it himself. Sanbreque is naught without her citizens. I forgot that. And I am sorry.
I'm sorry too, Father. I should never have taken things so far. I only wanted you to understand how the people felt, how I felt. But my anger got the better of me.
Do not blame yourself, my dear. This was my doing. I should have listened to you. To all of you.
Your Eminence, Your Ladyship, I do not doubt that you came here with the best of intentions. But I believe the same could be said of us all. We all want safety, security, prosperity. Not just for Northreach, but for the entire realm. And we may yet achieve it. If only we work together. Will you join us in this?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Eminence. Now that that is settled, I must go and see to the wounded. The Vale's doors are always open to any soldier in need of relief. And today there are more than ever before.
Madame Isabel is a rare soul indeed. In these dark times, I see that it is not men like me who should lead the realm, but women like her.
You're right. If only I'd listened to her when I had the chance.
Forgive me for saying so, milady, but you still do. The dame said it herself. We can turn things around. We just have to work together. And that goes for you, too. You're one of us now.
One of you?
Well said, Captain. Let this be a new beginning. Not only for Sanbreque, but for us.
Well, since there's nothing more to be done here, I should see if Isabel needs any help moving the wounded.
Can we get you anything?
Okay, so that went well.
No need to worry any longer.
I saw several soldiers being carried to the...
It's kind of funny how Clive wasn't involved much in this side mission. He was just mostly taking a back seat and watching events play out from afar. Besides fighting the enemies, anyway.
How goes the treatment of the wound? I'd be happy to man one end of a stretcher if it would help.
You've helped quite enough for one day, Clive.
Don't mention it.
Oh, but I must. After all you've done for this town, it is the very least you deserve.
Tell me, if Northreach had fallen, what would you have done? A woman of your means could find a home anywhere in the realm, but I sense you would rather have died here.
It's a long story.
For you, madame, I have all the time in the world.
Very well. Long ago, I had a life in the crystalline dominion. I was Carla then, courtesan to the nobility. So sought after was I that it was only they who could afford my time. Alas, those halcyon days were not to last. For naive as I was, I fell in love with a bearer. He was my master's guard, the gentlest man I have ever known. After they discovered us together, he was whipped bloody and forbidden from ever looking at me again, and so we fled. Not that we had anywhere to flee to. We wandered, aimless and starving, half dreading, half praying that the next day would be our last, until we found ourselves here, in Northreach. It was the Veil that took us in, that fed us, clothed us, and healed our hurts, those that could be healed at least. My love was already too far gone.
He passed away.
He did. Not long after we arrived, but at least we were able to share a few moments of peace before the end. It was the greatest gift I have ever received. But the generosity of this town and her people did not end there. The men and women of the Vale supported me through my grief, shared in it, though I was still a stranger to them. They treated me like a sister. And so I swore that I would always do the same. That I would return the kindness that Northreach showed me. That I would repay my debt to the Vale.
Thank you, Isabel, for sharing this with me.
You're a lot like him. You know, perhaps that is why I have such a soft spot for you. Never stop fighting, Clive, and I shan't either. I know that it will not be easy to keep Northreach together, but our efforts will be rewarded. Just look at us now. The people, the soldiers, even the Duke of Oriflamme and his daughter, all united in defense of this town that we have come to call our home. And what of you? Can we count on your support?
Always.
Okay, quest complete. Oh, got another one.
We have brought Northreach together. Now the fight begins to keep her together. For if this town is to survive, we must all play our part.
I'm not sure where I would get the... Just gonna head back to the hideout for now. Just... just to complete that side quest.
You should have seen.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, Sid.
Yeah. Welcome back. Trip wasn't too much of a pain in the arse, I hope. Truth be told, it was me who suggested roping you in to help with the trial. But from what I hear, things didn't go quite as planned.
No, they most certainly did not.
I suppose so, because the person Ember still got the map. So yes.
Ember lost his nerve in the face of a beast of prey, but he didn't lose heart. He pressed on, and he achieved his aim. And is that not what we ask of our scouts?
Indeed it is. Thank you for your honest appraisal, Sid. The fact remains, however, that Ember will not always have a battle-hardened warrior on hand to pluck him from the jaws of peril. All I have gleaned from this trial is that without someone watching his back, Ember is little more than a liability.
Wait, Sergeant. Ember still has much to learn, it's true. And this time he was found wanting. But I'd say he's due a second chance, nonetheless. After all, He did do as you asked.
With a bit of hard work, any hand can be made to hold a blade, and any mind can conquer its fear. But a scout's nose is different. You've either got one, or you ain't. And by sniffing out that log, young Ember here has shown he has a conk and an art. Wouldn't do to waste it now.
Fine. One more chance.
I'll do whatever you are. I'll spend my days and nights in the pit if I have to. I'll show you. Just you wait.
Daft as a brush, that one. But his heart's in the right place. Just like someone else we know. And if you ask me, we've been leaning on him for far too long. That time the curse breakers took some of the weight off his shoulders, I reckon.
Couldn't hurt.
Just don't tell Gav I said so, will you? I won't have him thinking he's been hard done by. Next thing you know, he'll be asking for a day off. Chance would be a fine thing. Back to work.
Forgive me, Sid. This did not play out as I expected.
Things really do these days. But that's why we need men like Ember more than ever. Men who can make the best out of a bad situation. Remember that.
I will, Sid. Thank you.
Quest complete. Okay, I might do the quests further out first. Yeah, like that one there, Duty Undying. Do that one, do it. Just because the quests in the Hideaway seem to be focusing like on the main characters, like Torgal, Joshua, Jill.
Lord Marquis, if you have a moment.
What is it, Cyril?
One of our brethren lately journeyed across the strait in order to pursue a new avenue of inquiry in our ongoing investigation. He sent an owl.
I'm hoping this is not going to be the same thing as before, where we have to save the same people again.
A while ago, but we have heard naught from him since.
Was he surveying another fallen ruin?
No. The object of his study was a savior cult that has arisen in Ash in recent years. We believe it may have some connection to the Circle of Malleus, an ancient religion that worshipped Ultima as its god. By gaining an understanding of this new faith, we hoped to learn more of the Circle's original beliefs.
And so you sent one of your brothers to Ash? A continent teeming with orcs and Akashic?
Fully cognizant of the risks, yes. I entrusted the mission to one of the most able of our order, the Third Chair, a master of the arts of combat and survival both. Though he has been silent for some days now, I have...
Well, that's very uplifting, isn't it?
As far refrained from sending any others in search of him, lest they be lost in turn. Yet, it seemed only right to inform you of the situation, given your unique experience of the perils of Ash. For as you so earnestly advised me, it would not do to abandon a man to his fate, when he might yet be saved.
Okay.
It would not. But Ash is a big place. Can you be any more specific?
Perhaps. The last owl I received from him mentioned a village where he had heard the cult were wont to assemble. Mickleburg was its name. It lies in the southern... If aught ill befell him...
Right.
You are much too kind. Go then, with my hopes. and may the Firebird's flame ever burn in your heart.
Okay, I gotta say, I didn't like the sound of the music there. It's like saying this is gonna be horrible. Okay, so
Come on. Fly, Ambrosia.
This must be Mickleburg.
oh, finally going to find out what's in this area. Because Clive mentioned this place when
Straight home now.
when I first came to this area. Okay.
These people aren't turned. And the village seems safe enough at least. What is going on here?
Ah. Did you, too, heed the call?
Heed the call? No, I came here looking for someone. To be honest, I wasn't sure I'd find him here. Let alone all of you.
Is that so?
What are you doing here? Is this where you live?
It is my home. The others, they heeded the call.
You keep saying that. What do you mean?
Yeah, by the music so far, I'm getting bad, I don't know, getting a bad feeling about this.
They came here to perform the rite, just as King Barnabas instructed. This village is their altar, where they shall cast their souls upon the gentle waters and give themselves to the Lord.
Give themselves?
Oh, Lord, cleanse us of our sins.
Let us be reborn in your loving arms.
Free us from the torment of this mortal realm.
They want to be saved. Forgive me. But did another foreigner, like me, come here? He was probably wearing a cowl.
You mean the traveler from Stone? Yes. He's staying at my house, toward the rear of the village.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I'll go and greet him. They seek the same salvation Barnabas did. At least the third chair is still alive. Let's go and find him.
Is he? I don't know. This, I gotta say, Clive, this feels like a trap. Oh, just want to see what's up here a minute. I'll take that. I wonder what happens if you leave. Oh, you can leave then.
Let us be made pure.
Wait a second, I can see a part on the map there. Okay, thought there'd be another chest up here, guess not.
Excuse me. Are you with the Undying?
I am. And so it would appear, are you? Lord Rosfield, if I am not mistaken.
That's right. And you must be the third chair.
I am.
Cyril was worried for your safety. He sent me to find you.
Then I must apologize. I did not mean to trouble the bearer of the burning quill. Much less you, my Lord Marquis.
He said that you had failed to report. Is there a reason for that?
I came here to study the followers of this new faith. But the more I learned of them, the more my own faith began to falter. You have seen them at their prayers, have you not? They devote themselves to the veneration of their Lord with a fervor I have never seen before. Praying night and day that they might be rid of their wicked wills and reborn in their Saviour's light. Not that they might be granted respite from their worldly woes, but so that they might continue to serve him with all of their being. I too swore to devote my life to the service of my Lord and Master, but this... it is different. It is more. And so I would see it through to the end. See these people safe, that they might achieve their dream. That they might do their duty to their Lord. Even if it should keep me from doing my duty to mine.
You do understand what their dream is, don't you?
I do, my lord. They would cast aside their wills and become a Kashik. I know that it may be hard to believe, but to these people, that is the very essence of salvation. Forgive me, my lord, but I must remain here. If you are to return to Master Cyril, I would consider it a great...
Okay.
Did you hear that, my lord? Something is happening.
I'll go and find out what. Stay here.
That didn't sound like something good. Have they all turned into monsters? Yes, they have.
Beneath the flood. Oh no. There must be something I can do. Echoes as well. Found her. Come on. Over here! Farewell. Help me, boy. What now?
Okay, that wasn't open before. Okay.
We meet again. I've killed your kind before. To me, boy!
Okay. I gotta say, I don't like fighting those enemies when you're like in a small area. Because, yeah, some of those big attacks will catch you. Especially some of the sword attacks, because it's hard to predict when he's going to do them sometimes.
Damn it.
Okay, well he's dead.
Don't you die. Come on, speak to me.
Or not.
I had to save them, that they might have a chance to find true salvation by devoting themselves to the service of their Lord. Just as I did when the Undying plucked me from the gutter and gave me a cause to believe in. A duty.
Yeah, but all that's going to happen to him is they're just going to turn Akashic.
Serve was everything to me, and I would not deny them that fulfillment, even if they must become Akashic.
Yeah, it's nice that he did that, but it still seems stupid.
In order to achieve it.
Because they're just going to turn into monsters anyway.
Forgive me, my Lord Marquis. I did not mean to trouble you with this. My findings. Could you deliver them to Master Cyril for me?
Of course. Your duty will be done.
Look, my lord. They are saved.
Are they though? I mean, yeah. Sometime later. Yeah, I gotta say that quest kind of felt like a bit of a waste of time. Like that person died, yes, but what did he die for? Just so they could become monsters? Just seems a bit, I don't know, stupid.
Saved. Found her.
Yeah.
I should get this report to Cyril.
How are they saved exactly? Like,
the bearer of the burning quill is within, my lord.
maybe it's trying to go by the logic that they were happy in the end. But even then, it comes across as a bit stupid because it's like, well, they were monsters. They became monsters, so were they happy? I don't know. Anyway.
My Lord Marquis, welcome back. I am glad to see you hale and whole.
I met with your third chair, Cyril. He bade me deliver his findings to you.
Here they are.
Thank you, my lord. He remained in Ash?
He died protecting the villagers from an echo. I buried him in Mickelberg. I'm sorry that I couldn't save him.
If you could not save him, no one could.
The villagers, they were believers in this savior cult. They prayed to their god that they might be unburdened of their will. Then an ether flood came, and their wish was granted. Your brother sacrificed himself that they might live, even knowing that that life was death by another name.
Then he perished defending liberty. A hero's end.
I'm sorry, I kind of disagree with that. He, like, I don't know.
Choose how one dies is no less sacred than the right to choose how one lives.
Sid would agree. He wanted to build a world where people could die on their own terms.
a noble ambition. To die for one's cause is the most perfect expression of one's faith. It matters not how misguided others might judge one's decision to be. Only that the decision is one's own. We live according to the teachings of our order. We believe in them, we protect them, and yes, we die for them. For better or worse, that is our creed.
But he didn't die for your creed. He died to save them.
Yeah, exactly, so...
And you still believe that what he did was right?
I believe that he believed it was. We of the Undying are not slaves, but willing servants, and this was his will. The ultimate expression of it.
All right. I'd like to know this man's name, Cyril. To know the names of all the Undying who've fallen in the line of duty. They died serving my house. It's only right that I remember them. That is my duty.
Of course. I shall fetch the Book of Martyrs at once. My lord, it has been, and shall ever be, the greatest honor of my life to serve House Rosfield. Though our duties may differ, yours is no less important. I pray with all my heart for your success, and were they here, I have no doubt but that every one of my fallen brothers and sisters would feel the same.
Quest complete. Oh, got another one of them. Might be able to get the 2 armor upgrades now. Okay, so how much health do I have? Yeah, I might just travel back to the hideout. Just to get full health back. I just want to see if I can forge those items now.
So, will it be?
Oh, there was something new there.
So what do I owe the honour? Crack the crystal? Not a very good one, but then... Not saying Fordian, do you? Bring me the materials.
Okay, I still need dark steel. I don't know when would get that from.
Not bad, if I do say so myself. Should last you a good while.
Okay, just need the sword now.
And?
Still missing quite a few items.
Something tells me this is no mere adventure story.
An inconvenient truth. Okay.
Vivian, and I'd be happy to help you find the book you're looking for.
Thank you, Clive. But tracking it down will not be easy. Are you sure?
Please. You have always granted me your wisdom and insight whenever I asked. It's only right that I return the favor. Or at least attempt.
You are too kind. Alas, what I ask of you is rather more trying than delivering the odd I spoke with Harpocrates to see if he had any inkling as to where another copy might be found, but perhaps it is best that you hear the details from him.
If you say so.
Forgive me, Clive, for asking this of you, but this book, it set me on the path to becoming who I am today.
Clive, my boy. Harpocrates. I've been charged with locating a book called From a Distance.
And you seek a rare gem indeed. One whose name I had not thought.
Right as always. But she didn't seem keen to tell me very much. I take it she didn't like what you had to say.
And yet I gather it did naught to dissuade her. Clive, if the young professor has tasked you with obtaining a copy, I fear she asks the impossible. The executors would not allow it.
The executors?
Coveters of secrets, a clandestine organization committed to the collection and intenebration of forbidden texts and technologies. One such text being the tome Vivian seeks, chronicling as it does the true history of the enslavement of bearers. A tale which could overturn the established order were it ever to become widely known, or so rumor has it. I've never actually read the thing, or even set eyes on it for that.
How is it that I haven't heard of this organization?
Why, secrecy is the executor's watchword. They lurk in the shadows, emerging only to seize that which must be seized, be it books, inventions, or people, before disappearing again.
Okay, if they all wear black hoods, this is definitely Kingdom Hearts' organization.
Nary a trace.
Which would explain why Vivian's copy was snatched from her grasp not long after she found it.
By the hand of the executors.
Yeah, sounds a bit...
But what drives them?
The executors?
Self-interest or ideology?
Fine question. Sadly, all that is known of the executors can be recounted in a single breath. You may just as soon ask me of their origins, numbers, or the identities of their leaders. Any answer I give would be pure speculation.
Then my hunt was doomed from the first. What was Vivian expecting? That I'd pluck it from thin air?
Not from thin air, no. From ash. Rumors of the executors are rife among the scholars of Storm, but rather less so across the strait. I have a friend, well, I had a friend in the village of Garnick, a collector of rare tomes, upon which subject we would... Alas, I have heard naught from him since the skies fell dark. And no doubt he too has, but though he did not mention it by name, it is possible that a surviving copy of From a Distance yet rests upon one of his many shelves, quietly awaiting discovery. If you were, by some chance, able to save even a single book from the poor man's library, I know his soul would rest easier.
Very well. When I next find myself in Walloon, I'll be sure to pay Garnick.
I don't know. Just like the way Hippocrates said they're like, oh, they're a secret organization. It just seemed a bit too similar there. And he says they have no, they're not, their identities aren't known. Okay, an inconvenient truth. Okay. Is that a regular enemy or is that a boss? Oh no! Okay. What level is this one at? Okay, I'm fine.
Royalist guard dogs. Quite a specimen of these two. Give me something!
Come on. Wow. Okay, this is a bit difficult. Okay, try this again. Oh, come on. Like that, he was already at half stagger there. He should have been staggered. For a few seconds, anyway.
It's us or them.
Come on. Oh, come on, you've got to be joking. I'm sorry, I hate this game for doing that. That was so stupid. The worst possible time. I would have won that time as well. That's why I'm so angry at that. Just because I was outside the area, it reset the boss's health. I'm not being funny, but why the hell does the game even do that? Like, I wasn't even outside the area then. It still gave him back all his health. Yeah, it didn't me. Didn't give Clive back his health. Okay, I'll give this one more try. This is stupid though.
It's not so bad.
Never mind. Okay, I'll try again. I don't know, that was just really stupid. I'd already got it down to below halfway anyway. That's probably okay to do for the smaller enemies, like sometimes give them back their health if you go too far out there. But when it's for like the boss battle like that, where the enemy's like throwing, I don't know, everything at you and you have to like avoid it, it's hard to tell how far the perimeter is. Like, how far can you go before it'll just reset everything? Well, better go back to the hideout then, because I've got no health. Okay, so avoid the storm tornado. Okay, is there anything I can upgrade? Oh, Got plenty of points. Okay, I did say I was going to get dancing steel, but I think I'm going to upgrade Shiva's ability again. The diamond dust. Oh, there's another one. Okay, well, I might save up for dancing steel next and then get that. Okay, hopefully that does a little bit more damage now. I gotta say, I hate that attack. Because even if I jump over one, there'll be like another one coming in the opposite direction. So what am I supposed to do there? So you've got to jump over one, then quickly dodge backwards. So you don't get caught by the other one, it seems. I'll give this one proper attempt more, but if it resets everything again, I'm done with this. I'm not trying it again.
There's no turning back.
come on.
It's over.
Okay, that was the toughest one yet. Then again, not really, because I would have beaten that if I'd have. I would have beaten that the other time, just that he reset all his health. So, yeah. Okay, not too bad.
No match for you, eh, Torgal?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Torgal. You were quite useless during that fight, to be honest. Every time I was like trying to use the health, the heal on Torgal, he would always be like too far away to use it. Like I would be over here probably, and Torgal would be in the distance there somewhere. I would be there, and Torgal would probably be right over there. And the heal wouldn't reach. Okay, I think I'm just gonna get my health back before I do this mission, because don't know what I'm facing. Could be like another boss fight. I do think the Behemoth King though is the last one to do with the hunts. Maybe it's the final hunt. Unless there's something else.
Good girl.
Faster.
The entire village looks abandoned. Now, which house would a bookworm live in?
It'd be funny if we just like find the house with the books and there's like a little note there. And it says the executors have got here first, Clive. You're too late.
This is a Royal Army logbook. Did he take this from the local barracks? His interests were certainly varied. This is it. But if what it says is true, I need to get this back to the hideaway.
Okay, time to leave. Yeah, this feels too easy. There's going to be something waiting.
Leaving so soon, stranger?
Oh, yeah.
We've been watching you. From a distance, so to speak.
Subtle. I know who you are.
Then we need not waste time on introductions. Hand me the book. Leave it in our care and return to your life.
No.
Your care? Do you mean to burn it? Or bury it?
That is not my decision to make, but by one means or another, its contents shall be removed from the common record.
Then I'll have to politely refuse. I won't let you erase our history.
Then we find ourselves at an impasse. Very well. The book can just as easily be pried from your dead hand.
Good luck with that.
Let's see, shall we?
Okay, a bit overly dramatic there. Sounded like Clive strangled him. Was that it?
Impressive. But we have other means. We shall claim the book yet.
Why do you want it so badly anyway?
It lays out in no uncertain terms the vanity and avarice of mankind. It tells the shameful history of the persecution and oppression of a gifted few by a giftless many. Would you say that this interpretation was correct?
I don't know.
You don't know. Your sword may be sharp, but your wits are dull. So let me answer for you. There is no correct interpretation of history. that a series of events took place may be proved beyond a doubt. But there can be no single, immutable explanation as to why they came to pass. It is a question of numbers and of belief. If enough people believe that a set of events occurred for a reason, that belief becomes the truth.
So you're trying to control the truth?
We are trying to protect people from themselves, from knowledge that would bring them naught but pain.
Okay, why are these, they're starting to sound like the Assassin's Creed Templars now, a little bit. Like the way they control, like, order.
That is all. You may keep the book.
A little bit.
For now. The world is small. We shall meet again. Until then.
Wait. Damn it.
We shall meet again.
Let's get this back.
In Final Fantasy 17, maybe.
To Vivian. Perhaps she can explain what that was all about. Vivian.
Got the book.
I found it. The book you lost.
Here it is.
You found it. Thank you, Clive. Even though I asked this of you, I was not entirely sure it would be possible. I feared the executors had seized every copy.
I met with one of these executors, and I convinced him to let me keep it. He told me something, that the truth is just a matter of collective belief, and that if enough people believe a lie, that lie becomes the truth.
It does. But it also means that the truth is not immutable, that it can be changed, provided that those who wish to change it can convince enough people that their perspective is the correct one. As the sad history of the bearers proves.
You said that the book inspired you to become a scholar.
It did. Or its author, rather. She was a heretic, you see. A firebrand and a dissenter. A gallows stood ready for her in every corner of the realm. And by shunning society, or perhaps being shunned by it, she stumbled upon a truth so potent that an entire realm trembled at the prospect of its utterance. I, too, have always felt somehow set apart from the world of men. A stranger to my own species. She taught me that my solitude was not a curse, but a gift. And that, though my journey to the truth might be a lonely one, what I found at my destination would be more than worth the cost.
Do you still feel that way? That you're not one of us?
Honestly, I'm not entirely sure anymore. Since coming to the hideaway, I find my thinking somewhat clouded. Perhaps the result of studying mankind from a rather closer perspective than I had intended. But the more I study, the more I find value in this perspective. In looking not from the outside, but from within. So if you'll permit me, I'd like to continue my work here. Remember, Clive, when enough people believe, belief begets truth. Give the men and women of this benighted world the gift of truth. Make them believe in you, as I do.
I'll try, Vivian. I'll try.
Okay, quest complete. Okay, just gonna look in the hideout. Sorry, not the hideout. Clive's chambers, just to see what the new item was. Okay, lines in the sand.
Why is everyone being mean to Luke? I'm going to go with him.
Here to help me pack? Thanks, but I'll be traveling light. I'm almost finished already, in fact. You're really going to go through with this, then? I am. But before I go, there is one small issue I'd like your assistance with. Well, two, in fact. If it's within my power to help you, I will. It's the children. I refuse to let them share in my disgrace, and if I leave them here, they surely will. Our friendship would see them ostracized forever. But I can't take them with me either.
So he wants Clive to take them to the hideout then, I'm guessing.
I can think of only one place where they are certain to be safe.
The hideaway.
Provided for and loved. The hideaway.
Yeah, okay.
Of course. The children will be more than welcome. Thank you, Clive. I will not forget this.
Lubor, are you still here?
What is it, Ferda? You look pale.
There's been a flood in the Velcroy. A damn big one. The League of Outlaws encampment was completely submerged in ether.
What?
Every last one of the bastards has turned. And they're headed this way.
Bandits are one thing, but Akashic bandits are quite another. The town guard won't stand a chance against them. We need to evacuate. There's no time to lose. Ferda, gather the men. The Akashic may strike at any moment. We must make ready to cover the townspeople's escape. Well, what are you waiting for?
Yes, my lord.
Clive, change of plan. The children stay with me for now. I need you to find Conrad and Natalie. Tell them to prepare for a full and immediate evacuation. Understood. I'll do what I can to convince everyone else. Wish me luck.
What's an Akashic?
You have to listen to me.
They're coming. Like people.
You need to evacuate. Know your place, bearer.
Why do they always have to make such a fuss?
Ah, it's you.
What do you want, Lord Underhill?
To pass on an important message. There's been an ether flood out in the Velcroy. The camp where the so-called League of Outlaws were gathering has been swallowed. They're no longer just bandits. They're Akashic now. And they could be here at any moment. You need to begin preparing for a full-scale evacuation right away.
Oh, do we? And who was it who gave you this disturbing news, might I ask?
Lubor, perhaps? The man spreading the same poison out in the square as we speak. You may believe his lies, my lord, but we know better.
But why would he lie about something like this?
Some twisted attempt at revenge, perhaps. If he had not been unmasked, he may well have been elected our leader. A great honor for one of his kind. One he might well feel aggrieved at having been denied.
Lord Underhill, forgive me, but it has become all too evident where your sympathies lie. Lubor cannot be trusted, and neither, therefore, can you.
You may not trust me, but for the sake of your people, ask yourselves if there is any chance that this is true.
There isn't. You can be certain of that. Now be off with you.
Okay, it's kind of tempting to let the Akashic just attack them at this point. I've got to say, because like they're not even listening to Clive. They could at least like humour him just to see if there are Akashic enemies coming.
You're making
It's like they're like, nah, we're going to completely ignore you.
a mistake.
Yeah, big mistake.
It's no use. They're not going to listen to me. We'll just have to do what we can without them. I should speak to Lord Furder.
Well, thanks for nothing.
I think we'd better shut up.
What's Lubor raving about now?
Lord Furder.
Sid, what's wrong?
I went to warn Conrad and Natalie about the Akashic, but they wouldn't listen. They've convinced themselves that nothing Lubor says can be trusted.
The bloody fools.
Which means the town guard can't be counted on for support, but I can. If there's anything I can do to help you defend Dalamil, you only have to ask.
I appreciate it.
Sid! Further! I've been looking for you everywhere.
Victor, I thought you'd left.
I couldn't abandon a friend in need, and Lubor is in need at this very moment.
You have to believe me. The Akashic are coming. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they don't tire, and they don't care who they kill. They're unlike anything that's come before. There will be no parley, no mercy granted. We may have saved the town once, but this is different. I do not ask that you forgive me, but please believe me. If you do not run, you will die. You will all fucking die!
You'd like that, wouldn't you, bearer?
Yeah, with us out of the way, your kind will be free to claim Dalamil for yourselves.
You should run!
Run, bearer!
Yeah, run!
Run!
Far away!
Run!
Just go!
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes! Go!
Come on, then.
Go on! Go!
Just go.
Lubor, wait. Someone's coming.
Go. Come on.
Stop! You're hurting him! What did Lubor ever do to you? He solves all your stupid problems, and he keeps all of you safe. You know there's nothing he wouldn't do for this town. Who was it who made that cleaver you use every day, Conrad? And what about your counting table, Natalie? Who fixed that? Whose men make sure the streets are clean so all your boots don't get dirty? Who spends all day, every day making sure things run smoothly around here? And none of you ever say thank you. Ever. But did Lubor ever complain? Well, does he ever stop smiling? He keeps this whole place going. And you act like it doesn't even exist.
Lubor, we've heard enough.
Wait!
We will not run. The town guard will not abandon the very place it is sworn to protect.
And I will not give up for lost the stores that we labored so hard to fill.
So tell us, how do you propose we deal with these Akashic of yours?
We won't run, but we will fight.
All right, then. Fine. Gather round if you don't want to die.
Allow me to explain the situation. The ether flood occurred near the village of Cheratina, deep in the Velcroy. The place had been abandoned for years, until the League of Outlaws decided to make it their base of operations. Now they're all turned, and if the scouts' reports are correct, heading in this direction.
They are mindless monsters, driven only by hate and rage. And they are utterly unpredictable. With the bandits, we at least knew how and where they were likely to attack. When these creatures come, Dalamil will have the bitterest fight it has ever faced on its hands. The town guard will muster at the north gate. The rest of us will take the south. Both forces will provide men to serve as scouts and messengers, ready to spread word of the size and nature of the Akashic Force as soon as it is spotted. And as soon as it has been, we will converge on its position and see that it is driven back from Dalamil at all costs. Conrad, can I count on the support of the town guard?
Always.
I leave the selection and coordination of the messengers in your hands, Victor. And the command of our men in yours, Ferda. If you would both be so kind.
Consider it done.
As you wish.
Natalie, I would ask that you and your people have the townsfolk barricade themselves inside the bathhouse. And tell the merchant not to waste time securing anything beside the essentials. Preserving life is our one and only concern. As long as we survive, it doesn't matter what trinkets we might lose. Our riches can be regained. And if anyone doubts that, let it be known that the Briar's Kiss stands ready to cover any...
Very well.
Where do I fit into this? Where else but the most pet? I would like you to travel to the home of our erstwhile League of Outlaws. Main host is most likely still there. And Dalamil will... A little gardening. I doubt it. I have a... Luckily, so am I. So you are. All right then, we all... Now it's simply a match... Looks like everyone's ready. I better not keep them waiting.
Okay then.
There's the flood. But what's waiting for us inside?
Well, monsters, Clive, obviously.
We can't leave a single one alive.
me, boy!
Okay, that wasn't too bad.
The League is disbanded. I should get back to Dalimil and see how...
Sometime later.
All the Akashic we were able to find have been dealt with. Seems that might be the last of them.
Last of them here, perhaps.
Lubo, Sir Clive has returned.
Clive! What news from Cheritina?
It's done. Root and branch.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
Thank you, my lord.
Friends, the Horde has been driven back. The Akashic have been defeated. And we need not fear the arrival of any more, thanks to Clive. Victory is ours.
We bloody did it!
We saved Dalimil.
Lubor, allow me to apologize. After all you have done for this town, we should never have doubted you.
But we did. And for that we are truly sorry. We only hope that you can forgive us.
We need you, Lubor. Dalimil needs you. So, if you would still like to be considered for the position of mayor, you have our back.
You do remember that I'm a bearer, don't you?
We do. But that is not a stain on your character. It is a stain on ours. We thought only of what we perceived bearers to be, not what you truly are. The man who saved Dalimil twice over.
I see. But I will only accept your proposal on 2 conditions.
Name them.
Firstly, that you will both do everything in your power to rally your people to my cause. If the Town Guard and the Merchants League do not accept my leadership, it will be doomed from the start. Unity is the key to defending Dalimil, and I do not doubt that we shall need to call on our combined strength again. When that time comes, I will expect us all to pull together, just as we did today.
Of course. You have our word.
And secondly, you will accept that if I am to lead you, the mistreatment of bearers must end here in Dalimil. Any bearer within our walls shall be afforded the same rights as any other citizen. They will not be judged by what they are, but who they are.
As we failed to do, and came so close to losing everything.
We agree to your conditions. And we have only one in return. that you continue to work for the good of Dalimil, as you always have.
Well then, it seems my mayorship is all but confirmed. Do I get some sort of special hat? How fickle fate can be. Not so long ago, I had resigned myself to leaving Dalimil in disgrace. And now, I find myself her leader here. For everything.
Lubo, about the children.
Fear not. You are, of course, relieved of your responsibility. I would sooner face another horde of Akashic than see them brought up as outlaws. I'll make sure they're safe here.
I don't doubt that you will. And not just the children, but everyone in Dalimil.
Can't have all your hard work going to waste.
Quest complete. Okay, I think that's all the side quests completed here. Back to the hideaway. After I've completed these side quests, I might end the video and pick up the story in the next part and finish it off. Whatever's left of the story. If it's the end and final boss. Just because these side quests have took up quite a bit of long time, and I don't know how long the final boss is going to be. Like, it could be, I don't know, if there's like a final area, there could be a lot more to it.
What can I do for my favorite nephew? Do you know what? 'Twas not 20s. Your mother. But above all, and so you see, we'll be fine, Clive.
Okay, so I think there's about three left. Making amends.
It's usually me making demands of Hippocrates. I wonder what this is about.
Hang on a second, I just want to see if I've got enough for the item up there.
Welcome to the Patron's Whisper.
Okay, just a bit more.
Best of luck out there, Sid.
Oh, there's more hunts.
There's something about it.
Lawsman Harpocrates. I received your note.
Ah, yes. I expect you're wondering what this is all about.
You spoke of making amends with Dion, but I can't imagine what for.
Then I should begin by telling you that I was once his tutor. This was some years ago, of course, before I joined Sid in his hideaway. At that time, I was counted among the foremost scholars of Oriflamme, and was accordingly invited to the palace to supervise the young prince's education, all to ensure that the future emperor had a firm grounding in, well, everything an emperor should. History, religion, commerce, government. Alas, our time together was cut short when Dion left to join the Dragoons. His studies no longer being deemed necessary. I had not expected to meet with him again, least of all here.
Have you spoken with him?
No, I have yet to find the right moment. His Highness always seems so preoccupied, especially when alone. I would not wish to disturb his ruminations with idle words of greeting. Not when I know he dwells upon the evil Ultima had him commit in the Dominion.
The guilt weighs heavily on him, I know. But as you say, that was Ultima's doing. Surely you can't blame yourself.
When I first met him, it was not guilt, but his people's expectations that weighed heavily upon him, and I did nothing to ease that burden. He bore it alone, until the day he could not bear it any longer. It is one of my greatest regrets that I only ever offered him my wisdom, and what he truly needed was friendship. The blame for Dion's transgressions lies not only on his shoulders, but on mine.
I see. I'm ready to help you in any way that I can.
Then I beg that you bring me a wild wyvern tail. Apothecaries across the ages agree that even to glimpse such a flower is to be granted inner solace. Fabulists and fraudsters all, of course. But there is oft a seed of truth to be found, where even...
Well, it can't hurt to... Where can I find this flower?
You have seen cultivated wyvern tails before, I trust. The lily-white blossom, well, those which grow in the wild differ only in their purple hue. The harsher the environment in which there is a waterfall in Rickmal's roost across the strait, where the flower... Whether they still survive there, I know not.
It's all right.
Thank you, Clive.
Okay, so where's that?
Run like the wind.
Yeah, this is quicker than going all the way through there.
Seems this place has been flooded twice over. Purple flowers blooming next to a waterfall. Shouldn't be too hard to find. Here they are.
Okay, got it.
Might as well pick enough for a bunch, I suppose.
That wasn't too bad.
Oarsman, I found the flowers you were looking for.
You did?
I think I did.
You did indeed. My dear boy, thank you.
You wanted to make Dion a gift of one, did you not? Shall I invite him to join us?
Oh, I don't...
It's no trouble. We'll go and fetch him.
Okay, speak with Dion.
Your Highness, would you do me the honor of accompanying me?
No. It is time, then.
No, only to the shelves. Our lawsman has something he'd like to give you.
Master Harpocrates? No. I dare not show my face before him, not after everything I have done. I have taken countless innocent lives. And ruined countless more, all because I was weak. I have sworn to atone for my crimes or die in the attempt, but were I to meet with him again, and see in his eyes what I have become, I fear that my resolve might falter.
Then that is all the more reason to do it. Test your resolve. Prove to yourself, and to him, how strong it truly is.
You are right. I must, at the very least, offer him my gratitude. Very well, then. Take me to him.
Follow me.
Even now, I hesitate to approach him. What must he think of me?
You'd be surprised.
Master Harpocrates, pray, accept my apologies for leaving your tutelage before my studies were complete. Your lessons opened my mind to a world quite unlike the one I had imagined from within the gilded confines of the palace. And I shall be forever grateful for the efforts you made to enlighten me.
Lift up your head, Your Highness. The deeds of youth require no apology. That you took the time to visit me says much about the man you have become. Now, there is something I would like to show you.
Is that a wyvern tail? The color is unfamiliar to me.
Because it is unique to those found in the wild. Something in the harsh environment in which they grow lends them this striking hue. Their roots are indistinguishable from those of their hothouse cousins, but once they bloom, the difference is immediately apparent. In this flower, I see you, Your Highness. Its roots were the roots of a wyvern tail, with all that implies. But they do not define it, just as yours do not define you. I want you to have it, that it might remind you of this truth.
Master Harpocrates, I would ask of you a service. Keep your gift until I have fulfilled my duty to the realm, for only then shall I be deserving of it.
As you wish, Your Highness. I shall await your return.
Our roots do not define us. No wonder my stepmother didn't like him. For reuniting me with memories I had thought long lost. I shall not forget this.
Thank you, Clive. Were it not for you, I fear I might never have found the right moment to speak with him, not to mention the wyvern tales. I shall plant their seeds, that I might not disappoint His Highness. upon his return.
I hope the soil in the hideaway is to their liking.
Why? These flowers bloomed in the bleak, black wastes of Waloed. I'm sure Nigel's yard will suit them too. When it comes to expressing one's gratitude, I find that words are seldom sufficient. Here.
What's this?
A stolas, or more precisely, it is said that an owl's feathers are steeped in the wishes it hears over its long lifetime. All those words just wait. So consider this, that one day you may put down your sword and pick up that pen.
Well, when that day comes, thank you, Harpocrates. It shall have pride of place in my chamber.
Quest complete. A tale to tell. Okay, not bad. Yeah, it feels like every one of these quests at the hideaway so far is like wrapping up like all the plot threads for the story.
You alright?
Something troubling.
No, it's just... Etta's baby will be coming soon, and I wanted to make something for her.
I'm sure she'd like that.
Back in the north, families would always make gifts when a bairn was on the way. I'll let the little tykes know they were welcome in their new homes, like.
So, what's the problem?
Well, the problem is that Etta's due any day now. I don't know if I'll be ready in time.
Is there anything I could... All right, then.
A good luck charm, but not just any.
Not just any.
No. One made from the feather of a silver... There's naught lucky in all the realm, or so we used to say back. Thing is, they're hard to come by. Had Otto and Karen check with their suppliers, but nothing.
Only the big day is fast approaching.
That or the bird whose horse it's attached to, aye. I was gonna start by asking around with
Well, there's no shortage of those passing through Marth. I think I might make that my first port of call.
You're a good friend, Clive.
Silver linings. I just want to check where those 3 monsters are. Okay, let's just focus on this one for now. So, Garnick, Wallowhead.
Let's go.
Yeah!
This might take a while.
All yours, Torgal.
Okay, so that enemy should be somewhere here. Oh, right here.
Madness, it's on.
Come on. Oh, come on. Ah, the last little bit of health. Damn it. Got too greedy there.
Good girl. I can walk from here.
Okay, let's try this again.
Too slow. All yours, Torgal. Torgal, kill! To me, boy. To me, boy.
Come on. Okay. 1 down, 2 to go.
Rest in peace.
Okay, the Penitent's Gate, Sandbreak, and Cape Orsieri, Sandbreak.
Welcome to the Patron's Whisper.
I'll take that.
You earned this. I gave you that one, didn't I? Best of luck out there, Sid.
So, what material would Fallen Ember be for? Oh no, it's just for money. Right, so they're both in Sandbreak. Okay, there's one, so... I don't know where the Penitent Gate would be. Oh, right there, so... Okay.
And how might I help the garrison today?
I might finish these two monsters off, then end the video for here and finish off the last two side quests in the next video. Just because this part's taken a bit of a long time.
Haven't seen any of those beastly blue-eyed... Do be careful.
I will.
Let's go.
Also, I think there's only two side quests left now. Just one with Gav and one with Joshua. So it'd be on the edge, be all the way at the top here. Okay, I think I've... Oh no, that isn't it.
No mistakes.
Oh no, chronolith. Okay. So which one is this for? Okay, Bahamut? Yeah, okay. Okay, stage 2. Considering I've upgraded the Bahamut abilities, this shouldn't be too bad. Cut through that rather quick. Is that enough time though? Hopefully it is. Yeah, I think I'm going to give up on this. Yeah, even with Bahamut's skills maximised, it's still not enough. I'm guessing you must have to have like the Gotterdamrung sword for this, because it feels like I'm not doing enough damage.
Let's go. Yeah. Time to fight.
Okay, I can't seem to see this enemy anywhere. Oh, right there.
Help me, boy. Too slow.
Okay, another one dead. Oh, finally got the dark steel.
I'm getting tired of these things.
Yeah, so am I, Clive, as well. But there's only one left. Okay, so Sandbreak. Yeah. Okay, just gotta find. Oh, the Penitence Gate was up here. Yeah. Okay.
And how might I help the garrison today?
Looks like you've got first. I haven't seen any of those beastly blue eyes. Do be careful.
I will.
Let's go. Fly, Ambrosia.
Okay, there's the enemy. It's kind of funny the last enemy's a dragoon. Means that the first one of the first enemies Clive fought was a dragoon. Back in the flashback, back at the start of the game.
You're outlaw! The one who drove his highness to madness on your knees!
He hasn't heard. And he doesn't look like he's willing to listen. Nice try.
To me, boy! To me, boy!
Come on.
Long live.
Damn it. Dion would have been glad to have you back at his side.
Yeah, go back to the hideaway. Dion, yeah, sorry about that. I might have killed your knight. Does he say anything if you tell him? Oh.
Ifrit, your resolve didn't falter.
No. Though I continue to be bewildered by fate, I should meet with my old tutor here. At the very end of the world, I thank you. With all my heart. For giving me this chance.
And I thank you for taking it.
Should like to look upon that flower once more. When I am worthy. I stand ready to leave for Origin at your word. May Grieger go with us.
And see us safely home.
Courage, Ifrit. Alas. My decision is... You said it, He must.
He must.
Make ready. The hour fast approaches. The time is nigh, Ifrit.
Okay, I think I'm just gonna make then again, I'll make the Gotterdamrung in the final video. But anyway, still got 2 quests to finish off, and then I'll be finishing off the story. I'll grab the Gotterdamrung at the start of the next video. But anyway, thanks for watching. This has been a long part, a lot of side quests to get through. Some of them, as I said, I've enjoyed some of them. Some of them have been a bit, I don't know, fillerish. The backwards and forwards ones I've got a bit fed up of and a bit bored with, but I'm just finishing them all up just to complete the game fully. Anyway, till the next video, which I'm guessing will be the final video. I think. Anyway, I don't know how long the game's going to go on for after that. But anyway, till the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.